Oh, man. How you doing today? Hi, it's Paul Begley. Black Friday. Black Friday. Do we really know how black it is? How dark is the picture? How bleak is the outlook? China, Russia, both dropped the U.S. dollar from their currency base. And that's part of that. Well, I won't say part of that. That's in retaliation to during the G20 summit when they tried their best to urge President Barack Obama not to print 600 billion new dollars off the printing press that does not have a gold standard to support it. So in other words, it's funny money and monopoly money. And they tried their best to convince America and President Barack Obama, don't do this. Okay? But he did it anyway by selling U.S. Treasury bonds. You know, the government's spill is they're going to sell $600 billion of new U.S. Treasury bonds. Reality is they just printed 600 billion more U.S. dollars and are going to flood the market with it through this mechanism of U.S. Treasury bonds. Now, what does that mean, Paul? It means in simple math, if there was only 10 U.S. dollars in the world, there's going to be 20 now. So if there was only 10 U.S. dollars in the world and you owned one of them, it'd be worth some money, wouldn't it? It'd be worth some value. But now there's going to be 20 of them in the world, and you still own one, but it has now half the value. And that's what's going to happen. We're going to bring deflation. Actually, we're going to bring inflation upon ourselves by printing too much money, but we're deflating the U.S. dollar, the currency. And because of that, that affects the currency of every nation in the world that uses American dollar as its currency standard. So what China and Russia is going to do is drop the dollar from the standard. I'm Paul Begley. I'm sitting here in a McDonald's parking lot. This is not a commercial. I'm not endorsing any products. But it's Black Friday. And people started opening their stores on Thanksgiving Day. Is that even ethical? And who really cares? I mean, people don't have any money to buy anything anyway. So what's going to happen is, I heard there was 600 people standing outside a Target somewhere in Chicago when it opened at 4 a.m. this morning. Okay. They're going to run in. They're going to grab some of the sales. They're going to feel good about it. But the truth is the prices are not marked down. They're not really marked down. They may have a few lost leaders where they'll mark one thing down but raise the price on 9 others. People, this is all a big joke. In New York City, Macy's in New York City, which is the most popular department store in the world, did have 7,000 people waiting for the door to open. But that's not that big of a deal. They've had as many as 20,000 before. So nobody has any credit. And that's how the consumers in this country have been buying for the last 15 years. Nobody has a job, so they don't have any money. People are more interested if they can keep the rent paid and are going to have something to eat and pray that their car doesn't have a breakdown and don't have health insurance and the retirement age is raising and their 401k disappeared and there's no pension programs and now Social Security is insolvent or very close to it. So yeah, I'd say this is Black Friday. I'd say we need God in our lives. You know what, folks? I'll tell you what it's coming down to. And I'll try to make this quick, but 6,000 U.S. sailors are on the USS George Washington right now, headed into Korea, headed right into the Sea of Japan. And the South Korean defense minister resigned yesterday on Thanksgiving Day. He resigned over there because the public was infuriated, angry, frustrated that it took 13 minutes for the South Korean government to respond to the shelling of artillery that this little island received from the North Koreans. It took 13 minutes for South Korea to respond. Now, to me, 13 minutes, that wasn't that bad. I mean, first you got to figure out where's the rockets coming from. Somebody's got to get the word spread. Finally, work its way up the chain and give the order to fire back. I don't think 13 minutes is really that big of an issue, but it was to the South Korean public. They're upset that they took them 13 minutes to fire back. So don't you think they want a preemptive strike? Don't you think they want protection? Sometimes preemptive strikes is what brings the greatest protection. So the USS George Washington, it's nuclear powered with 75 warships and 6,000 well-trained American sailors, are cruising into the Sea of Japan. And Sunday, remember this date, November 28th, Sunday, 2010, the United States of America and South Korea are to resume military exercises right there in the Sea of Japan in the Yellow Sea. And North Korea has said, if we feel even threatened, we're going to fire. Well, you better be threatened, is that the USS George Washington is the most powerful nuclear missiles. It is absolutely the biggest, baddest fighting war machine in the world on water. Black Friday. I'll tell you what we need, people. We need Jesus. I'm going to try to... If you put your trust in man, you're going to come up so disappointed. If you're having faith, and if your vote for Barack Obama was for hope and change, well, you got left over as the change. And very little hope. If your hope's in the Republican Party and the Tea Party, you're wasting your breath and your time. If your hope's in the Democratic Party, that's a joke. If your hope is that Al Gore is going to prevent global warming, first of all, is there global warming? If it is, it's not man-made. Since when can man determine the weather? We can't even stop a rainstorm from coming. We can't. I mean, it's Black Friday. If you live in the Gulf of Mexico right now, where over 10 million dead fish have already washed up on shore, nobody's telling you about that. Anderson Cooper don't go down there no more. No. Geraldo, he can't find Al Capone's vault. He sure can't find the 10 million dead fish along the shore. If you live in the Gulf of Mexico, you're broke, you're destroyed, your fishing career is over. Let the poverty begin. It's Black Friday. It is Black Friday, but not for shopping. It's Black Friday for the despair of America and really around the world. Ireland's broke. Greece went broke and had to be bailed out in May. Ireland in November. Portugal's next. Spain is next. The EU might as well say they're done. America's dollar is going to fall worse because China and Russia pulled the plug on it, using it as their basis for their currency. And this whole situation in Korea is all about the currency. So it's Black Friday. I don't know. I'm going to have a happy day. I'm just going to focus. And I hope you are too. I'm Paul Begley. I'll talk to you later today.